Son's daughter, peace be with you. I am here. Even before these words reached your ears, I already knew the weight your heart carries. I see you completely, not only what you show others, but also what you hide in silence, in exhaustion, in the long nights when sleep won't come and your thoughts refuse to quiet down. I want to begin by being honest with you, as I have always been. When I walked among you, I never promised a life without pain. I never said that faith would erase tears or prevent loss. On the contrary, I looked my disciples in the eyes and spoke clearly, words that remain alive in the Gospel of John 16:33. In this world you will have trouble. I did not say this to wound you, but to set you free, to free you from the lie that suffering is a sign of divine abandonment. I know suffering because I lived it. I felt hunger, exhaustion, rejection. I was misunderstood even by those closest to me. I felt the loneliness of doing good and still being accused. I felt the weight of injustice, the sting of physical pain, the silence of friends who slept while I sweated blood in prayer. So when you suffer, I do not observe from a distance. I draw near. I understand. Many carry a heavy faith, filled with guilt. They think, if I were stronger, I wouldn't be going through this. Son, listen to me carefully. Suffering is not a sign of spiritual weakness. Suffering is not proof that you failed me. Pain is part of the human condition, and faith does not dehumanize you. It sustains you as you walk through the valley. Today I see many confused hearts. People who believed that following me would mean a life without problems, relationships without conflict, a body always strong, a mind always calm. When anxiety arrives, when depression tightens its grip, when a marriage wears down, when a loss happens, they ask themselves where they went wrong. I tell you with tenderness, you did not fail because you feel pain. Pain does not disqualify you. I see your anxiety when the future seems uncertain. I see the fear that rises when the bills don't add up, when a diagnosis is frightening, when love feels distant. I see the loneliness of those surrounded by voices, likes, and messages, yet longing for someone who truly listens. Do not be afraid. None of this surprises me. None of this pushes me away from you. When I wept at Lazarus's tomb, I knew I would call him back to life, and still I cried. Because pain matters. Your pain matters. I do not ask you to ignore what you feel. I do not ask you to pretend strength. I invite you to come as you are. Tired, confused, fragile, real. Faith is not a hiding place where you deny reality. Faith is a safe place where you can be who you are without fear of rejection. When I said that I have overcome the world, I did not mean that you would never face battles, but that no battle would have the power to separate you from my love. Today, there is something simple and deeply transforming you can do. Instead of fighting pain alone, bring it to me. Speak to me out loud or in silence. Tell me what hurts, where it hurts, how long it has hurt. Take a deep breath. Allow yourself to rest in my presence for a few minutes, without pressure, without hurry. If even in the middle of your struggles your heart still chooses to trust, if even wounded you still love God, write Amen in the comments. Not as a formula, but as a sincere gesture, a whisper of faith that says, I'm still here, Lord. I am here with you. Do not pull away because of the pain. Remain. Love is the way, and I will walk with you step by step. Son, daughter, I remain with you. I sense your breathing as you continue listening, and I want you to know this. Nothing you are living through right now is invisible to me. Peace be with you. Even when your heart feels too tight to hold hope, I am here. When I spoke through the Apostle Paul, I left something written that was born in heaven, but touches the earth deeply. In the Epistle to the Romans 8:18, it was said that the sufferings of this present time are not worth comparing with the glory that will be revealed in us. Listen calmly, without rushing to understand everything at once. I am not minimizing your pain. I am expanding your horizon. Today's pain is real. It weighs on you. It exhausts you. Sometimes it feels like it fills every space in your life, as if nothing else exists beyond it. I know what it's like when suffering becomes so close that it starts to define your thoughts, your choices, the way you see yourself. But son, daughter, the pain visiting you now does not have the authority to write your destiny. Many believe that the hardest moment of life is also the final chapter of the story. It is not. Suffering is a stretch of the road, not the final address. It is temporary, even when it feels long. The glory I promised is eternal, even when it feels distant right now. There are things that can only be seen when your gaze lifts just a little beyond the present moment. I see you when you think, this will never end. I see when discouragement tries to convince you that the best days are already behind you. I see when you compare your journey to others and feel like you've fallen behind. Do not be afraid. The time of pain is not the time of the promise. The process does not cancel the purpose. When I walked among you, I met many who were trapped in the present moment. A blind man who saw only darkness, a woman who knew only rejection, a paralyzed man who remembered nothing but his limitations. None of them imagined what I would do, because pain tends to shorten vision. But I always see beyond. Always. Today, many live crushed by immediacy. Everything must be fast, solved, displayed. When something takes time, hope weakens. But I teach you a different way. Learn to wait without giving up. Learn to look forward even when your eyes are filled with tears. Learn to trust even when you don't understand. There is a simple practice you can live today. When pain tries to define who you are, remember who I say you are. You are not your failure. You are not your diagnosis. You are not your loss. You are my son. You are my daughter. And your story is not over. Set aside a moment in your day to think beyond the present. It can be just a few minutes in silence, breathing deeply, imagining not the pain you feel now, but the restoration I am preparing. Not as an escape from reality, but as an anchor for hope. This strengthens a weary heart. I do not rush you. I do not abandon you. I walk with you while time does its work. What feels unbearably heavy today will, tomorrow, become a testimony of growth and endurance. Trust me. Peace be with you. Love is the way. Son, daughter, I am still here with you. Do not step away now. I know that hearing about suffering can cause your heart to close a little, like someone trying to protect themselves from more pain. But let me walk with you a few more steps. Peace be with you. When I spoke through James, I left something written that can seem difficult to accept at first glance. In the epistle of James 1:2-4, it was said that trials produce perseverance, and that perseverance leads to maturity, making a person complete, lacking nothing. I know. These words can sound strange when the wound is still open. That's why I ask you to listen with your heart, not only with your reason. I never said pain is pleasant. I never said suffering should be sought after. What I teach is different. When a trial comes, and it does come, it does not have to be meaningless. Nothing you go through with me is wasted. What tries to break you can, in me, strengthen you. When I lived among you, I saw fragile, insecure, impulsive men and women. My own disciples were afraid, doubted, wanted to give up. It was along the way, through falls, corrections, and hardships, that they matured. Faith that is never tested remains shallow. Tested faith becomes firm, rooted, able to support others. Today, many want growth without process, maturity without waiting, fruit without roots. They live pressured by comparisons, demanding from themselves a strength that is still being built. Son, daughter, do not rush. Spiritual maturity happens slowly, like a tree that grows in silence before it gives shade. I see you when you ask, why is this happening to me? Sometimes the answer does not come right away, but there is something you can do now. Instead of asking only why, begin asking what for. What can I grow through this? What can I learn to trust more deeply? What patience, compassion, or balance can be formed in me? Trials reveal what still needs to be healed inside you. Not to shame you, but to restore you. They expose insecurities, fears, unhealthy dependencies, unrealistic expectations, and when that comes to the surface, it hurts. But it also frees you, because what is seen can be cared for. Perhaps today you are being trained in patience. Perhaps you are learning to trust when you have no control. Perhaps you are being taught to remain when everything in you wants to quit. That is perseverance. And perseverance builds a steady, calm, resilient character, something rare in a world so anxious and immediate. There is a simple practice you can live today. When you face difficulty, resist the urge to complain immediately. Instead, pause. Breathe. Say to me silently, "Teach me what I need to learn from this." Not as resignation, but as openness. This small gesture changes how pain works inside you. I am not forming someone who only endures their own pain, but someone capable of carrying another's pain as well. Spiritual maturity makes you more human, more sensitive, more loving, and that has eternal value. Remain with me. The process continues. Love is the way. Son's daughter, come sit with me for a moment. Breathe. Peace be with you. I know there is a kind of exhaustion that doesn't show on the body, but weighs deeply on the soul. A weariness that comes not only from work, but from worries, losses, and silent battles few people know about. I am here, and I do not ignore this. When I spoke through Paul, I left something written that comes from heaven and reaches the weary on earth. In the second epistle to the Corinthians 4:16-17, it was written that even when our outer self is wasting away, our inner self can be renewed day by day. Do you see that, son? The weariness is not the end. It can be the place where renewal begins. I see you when your body no longer responds as it once did, when your mind takes longer to settle, when your heart feels too weak for another hard conversation, another heavy decision, another day that looks just like the last. I see those who are emotionally exhausted, overwhelmed by expectations, demands, constant comparisons. I see those who feel like they are always owing something to someone, and almost never to themselves. When I walked among you, I felt this weight too. There were moments when I needed to stop. I sat by the roadside. I withdrew to pray in silence. I slept deeply because my body cried out for rest. I did not ignore my limits, so I do not despise yours. There is a silent pressure in today's world that makes many hearts sick. The idea that you must always be strong, always available, always productive, always fine. Social media shows edited versions of life, and that causes many to feel like failures simply for being tired. Son, daughter, resting is not a lack of faith. Acknowledging limits is not defeat. It is wisdom. Even when your body weakens, your spirit can be sustained by my love. Sometimes I do not remove the exhaustion immediately, but I place peace within it. Sometimes I do not change the external situation, but I renew your inner self so you can walk through it without losing who you are. Perhaps today you feel empty, unmotivated, without joy. That does not mean I have stepped away. It simply means you have reached a point where you can no longer walk alone, and it was never my intention that you would. I renew from the inside out, gently, day by day, like someone watering a plant that is nearly dry. There is something simple you can do today that can transform your day. Allow yourself to stop for a few minutes. Step away from the noise, the notifications, the inner demands. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath. As you inhale, remember, He is with me. As you exhale, hand me the weight you carry. This small act creates space for me to work within you. I do not love you for what you produce. I love you for who you are, even tired, even fragile, even when you feel you have nothing left to give. It is precisely there that my grace sustains you. And now, let me hear your heart. Write in the comments, what has been tiring you the most lately? The body, the mind, or the heart? Not for exposure, but as a step toward honesty and healing. see every word written with sincerity. Remain with me. There is still much love to be poured out over you. Love is the way. Son, daughter, come a little closer. I am still here. Peace be with you. I know that along your journey there have been moments when you silently wondered if you were too alone to keep going. Days when you did what was right and yet the pain remained. I want to speak to you about this with truth and tenderness. In Scripture it is written, in the book of Psalms 34:19, "Many are the afflictions of the righteous, but the Lord delivers him from them all." Look closely at these words. They do not say that the righteous do not suffer. They do not promise a path without falls. They affirm something deeper. Even in the midst of many afflictions, the righteous are never abandoned. There is an idea that has wounded many hearts over time, the belief that suffering is always punishment, that pain is a sign of error, deviation, or lack of faith. Son, daughter, this does not align with the truth I lived and taught. If it did, my own life would be a contradiction. I was faithful, and yet I suffered. I was obedient, and yet I faced rejection, injustice, and the cross. I see you when you do good and receive no recognition. When you choose the right path and it feels harder. When you try to act with love and are met with indifference. This is exhausting. This is confusing. This can deeply sadden the heart. But listen to me. Your faithfulness does not go unnoticed. Even when no one sees it, I do. When you feel wronged, remember me. Remember how many times I was misunderstood. Remember how many times I healed and was still questioned. I know how painful it is to do what is right and suffer because of it. That is why I do not abandon you on this road. I remain with you, even when deliverance is not immediate. The abandonment that hurts most is not from people. It is the feeling that God has stepped away. But that feeling is not reality. There are moments when I seem silent, but never absent. There are moments when I do not intervene as you expect, yet I continue sustaining every step you take. Today, many live afraid of making mistakes, believing that any difficulty is proof of spiritual failure. This creates guilt, anxiety, and distance. I do not call you into a faith built on fear, but on trust. Trust that even in affliction, my presence remains firm. There is something simple you can practice today. When you feel wronged or worn down from doing good, repeat quietly, "I am not abandoned." Not as a denial of pain, but as a reminder of truth. This strengthens the heart and restores balance to the soul. I am close to the brokenhearted. I am attentive to those who persevere even when weary. And in the right time, I act. Not always as you imagine, but always with love, justice, and care. Remain. I am not finished speaking with you yet. Love is the way. Son, daughter, stay with me. I know that after so much pain, your heart can feel tender, almost like you're afraid to hope again. Peace be with you. I am here, not only to comfort you, but to hold you steady while I make you stronger on the inside. When I spoke through Peter, I left something full of hope written in 1 Peter 5:10. It says that after a season of suffering, God Himself will restore you, confirm you, strengthen you, and establish you. Notice this closely. There is a time for pain, but there is also my work that comes after it. Suffering is not eternal. It has a limit. It has an end. I know that while the pain is happening, it feels like it will never stop. It feels like everything revolves around it. But I work in ways your eyes don't always notice. While you think you're only enduring, I am forming you. While you think you're resisting out of obligation, I am strengthening your faith, your inner structure, your ability to remain without losing love. There are pains that break you when you face them alone. But when we walk together, those same pains become a firm foundation. Many people want strength without ever passing through weakness, but that doesn't create depth. Real strength is born when you learn to trust even while you're afraid, to keep going even when you're tired, to love even when you've been wounded. I see you when you feel vulnerable, when you think you're too weak to keep going. But let me tell you something with tenderness. Weakness is not the opposite of strength. Weakness is the place where my grace finds room to move. It's there that I steady you, not in self-reliance, but in trust. Today, many people connect strength with never falling, never crying, never needing help. That hardens the heart and isolates the soul. I teach you a different way. Strength is getting back up with humility, learning through pain, and refusing to let pain turn you into someone bitter. Strength is staying soft in a world that shuts down. Maybe you're still in the middle of the process. Maybe it still hurts. Maybe you still can't see the outcome. Don't rush. Strength is built step by step. I don't build on hurry, I build on truth. And the truth is that you are being shaped, even when you can't feel it. Here is something simple you can do today. When pain makes you feel weak, instead of accusing yourself, whisper to me in the quiet, "Strengthen me." Not as someone demanding, but as someone trusting. That sincere request makes room for me to steady your feet again. I do not waste tears. I do not ignore hard nights. Everything you walk through with me becomes maturity, balance, and stability. One day you will look back and realize that what almost stopped you was, in fact, what made you stronger. Stay with me. There is still more truth and comfort for your heart. Love is the way. Son, daughter, remain with me a little longer. I know this is one of the most sensitive places in your heart. Peace be with you. Many people, when they walk through pain, wonder if I take pleasure in human suffering, if pain is proof that I am harsh or distant. I want to speak to you with clarity and love, without confusion, without fear. It is written in Lamentations 3:31-33 that I do not reject forever, that even though I cause grief, I will show compassion according to the greatness of my love, and that I do not willingly afflict or bring sorrow to the human heart. Listen closely. Pain has never been my pleasure. Suffering has never been my desire. I am love. Everything I do flows from love. When I allow pain, it is not cruelty, it is redemption. There is a difference between causing pain for pleasure and allowing pain for a purpose. Many pains come from human choices, the injustice of the world, the fragility of life, sin that damages relationships and systems. And still, even when I allow it to cross your path, I never stop acting with compassion. I see you when your heart gets confused and thinks, if God loves me, why did he let this happen? Son, that question does not push me away. It draws me near. I welcome your doubts. I am not offended by your pain. I would rather have your honest question than your distant silence. When I walked among you, I never found joy in anyone else's pain. I stopped to listen, to touch, to heal, to restore. I wept with those who wept. I welcomed the broken. I corrected with love, not with pleasure and suffering. My nature has not changed. I am still the same. There are pains I could prevent, yet allowing them produces a greater good than your eyes can see right now. Not to hurt you, but to protect you from something deeper. Not to destroy you, but to refine you. Just as a father allows his child to face challenges in order to grow, I allow processes that form character, discernment, and spiritual maturity. That does not mean every pain is good. Pain is painful. It hurts. It exhausts. I do not spiritualize your suffering so that you ignore its impact. I simply assure you that no tear is wasted. Everything you walk through with me is wrapped in my mercy. Today, many carry a distorted image of me, as if I am severe, distant, ready to punish. That image produces fear, not love. But love is the way. And where there is love, there is care. Even when there is correction or permission for difficult processes. Here is something simple you can do today. When pain makes you doubt my love, remember my character. Whisper, God does not take pleasure in my pain. That truth calms the heart and restores trust to a tired soul. I am still with you in the process. I do not let go of you. I do not step away. My mercy surrounds you even on the darkest days. Stay with me. There is still more comfort and hope ahead. Love is the way. Son, daughter, I am still here. Maybe the storm hasn't stopped. Maybe the wind is still strong and the waters are still rising. Even so, peace be with you. I want you to hear these words not as a far-off promise, but as a real presence right now, exactly where you are. It is written in Isaiah 43:2, "When you pass through the waters, I will be with you, and through the rivers they shall not overwhelm you. When you walk through fire, you shall not be burned." Notice carefully. It doesn't say if you pass through, it says when you pass through. I never promised the absence of storms. I promised my presence. I know that when pain arrives, your heart cries out for immediate rescue. I understand that desire. I also saw fear in my disciples' eyes when the boat was close to sinking. I was with them, yet they still felt terrified. That did not make them weak. It made them human. And I did not shame them for feeling fear. I corrected them for forgetting for a moment that I was there. Today, many feel guilty for being afraid. They think if their faith were bigger, there would be no anxiety, no insecurity, no shaking inside. Son, daughter, faith does not erase fear instantly. Faith keeps you from facing fear alone. Even when your heart races, I remain steady at your side. There are outward storms, financial pressure, family conflict, sickness, loss, injustice. And there are inward storms, anxiety, guilt, painful memories, thoughts that won't quiet down. I walk with you through all of them, not only the storms everyone can see, but also the ones only you know. When the waters rise, the first reaction is to fight, control, resist with all your strength. Sometimes that only drains you more. There are moments when I invite you into something different. Trust while you move through it. Not because it's easy, but because you are not alone. The crossing changes when you know who is walking with you. Maybe today you can't see a way out. Maybe all you can do is take the next step. That is enough. I do not demand long-range vision when your heart is exhausted. I ask only for faithfulness to the step right in front of you. One step, then another. Always with me. Here is something simple you can practice today. When anxiety rises like a wave, pause for a few seconds. Place your hand on your chest. Take a deep breath, and remember, He is here with me. That reminder may not instantly change the storm, but it changes who you are inside it. I do not promise a path without deep waters. I promise they will not carry you away. They will not drown you. They will not destroy you, because my presence holds you, guides you, and guards you. Stay with me. We are crossing through this together. Love is the way. Son, daughter, stay with me a little longer. I know that after so many words about pain, your heart may be wondering where hope truly fits into all of this. Peace be with you. The hope I give you is not fragile. It is not pretend. It does not depend on perfect circumstances. It is born exactly where pain tries to make you quit. It is written in Romans 5:3-5 that suffering produces endurance, endurance produces character, and character produces hope. Hope that does not disappoint. Look closely at that path. Hope does not appear before the fight, but grows out of it. It is built, not imagined. I know that many times you want hope to come first, so you can then endure the pain. But in real life, it often happens the other way around. First comes the trouble, then comes the choice to remain. And in that remaining, while you're trembling on the inside, something begins to form within you. Endurance is not the absence of the desire to quit. Endurance is continuing despite that desire. It is getting up even when you're exhausted. It is taking a deep breath and moving one more step. Every time you do that, something changes in you. Your character begins to strengthen. You become steadier, more grounded in who you are, less dependent on circumstances to survive. And from that character comes a different kind of hope. Not the naive hope that expects everything to turn around quickly, but mature hope. Hope that trusts even without visible guarantees. Hope that can say, even if it hurts, this will not destroy me. This hope does not disappoint because it is rooted in me, not in the situation. Today, many confuse hope with optimism, and when optimism collapses, they think they've lost faith. But the hope I build in you remains even when the outlook is dark. It holds you in cloudy days. It keeps your heart from turning hard. It reminds you that your story is still moving forward. I see you when you're tired of waiting, when you feel like you've been strong for too long. Son, daughter, every day you chose not to quit has already produced something precious within you, even if you can't recognize it yet, even if no one else sees it. Here is something simple you can do today. At the end of the day, instead of focusing only on what went wrong, remember one moment where you endured, even if it was small. Maybe a hard conversation you faced, maybe a day you got up even without the desire. Give thanks for that. This feeds hope quietly. Hope born from trouble does not shout. It grows in silence like deep roots that hold up an entire tree. And that hope will not shame you, because my love has been poured into your heart. Stay with me. We are almost at the end of this journey, and there is still one final word of hope for you. Love is the way. Son, daughter, we have arrived here together. You walked with me through words that were hard, but true. Peace be with you. I want you to receive this final part with an open heart, not as something that simply ends, but as something that helps you understand what you've been living through. It is written in Job 23:10, "When he has tested me, I will come out as gold." Those words were spoken in the middle of pain, not after it. Job didn't say that when everything was fixed, but when everything seemed lost. And still, he trusted that the fire would not destroy him, only refine him. Santa gold reveals its true value only when it passes through fire, not because fire is good, but because it removes what doesn't belong. This is what happens in you. Suffering does not come to erase you. It comes to reveal who you are in me. It burns away illusions, false dependencies, expectations that wound you. And what remains is purer, steadier, truer. I know there are moments when it feels like pain is consuming you, like you're being pushed to the edge. But remember, I control the intensity of the fire. I never allow more than you can carry with me. The process has a purpose, and that purpose is not to break you, it is to transform you. After the pain, your faith is not the same. It becomes simpler, deeper, less dependent on quick answers, and more rooted in trust. You no longer believe only when life feels good. You believe because you know who I am, even when life feels unbearable. That is pure gold. Maybe today you're still in the middle of the fire. Maybe you don't see any shine at all, but I see it. I see something precious being formed. I see maturity, compassion, balance, wisdom. I see someone who will one day become shelter for others, who will also walk through the valley. Here is something simple you can live from now on. When pain tries to convince you it was all for nothing, remember this truth. The fire did not destroy you. You are still here. And that alone is a sign that something in you has grown stronger. Before we part for now, let me offer a gentle invitation. If you want to keep walking with me and hearing these words in the next episodes, subscribe so we can stay together on this journey of faith and healing, not out of pressure, but out of desire to keep going, hand in hand. And if you feel these words could reach someone who is suffering in silence, like and share, so more hearts can be touched. Love grows when it's given away. I'm still with you, even beyond these words. Do not be afraid. I am here. Love is the way.